I think we need more thinking.
After losing their first preseason game to the Timberwolves, the Nuggets head to Canada to face the Raptors. What happened? Let's find out. You're listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about the Nuggets with good vibes. Let's get it.
Let's try to get healthy. Let's stay together. And if we can do that, we'll put ourselves in a good situation.
How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So the Nuggets were in Vancouver tonight for the Canada series to take on the Toronto Raptors. That's right, the Toronto Raptors were the home team in Vancouver. I wonder what that felt like for a Canuck to cheer on a Toronto team. But no altitude feed tonight, which was really frustrating. I absolutely hate, I try not to be a hater, but there are several things sometimes where you just can't help but hate, and I absolutely hate it when they do not have multiple feeds. I don't want to hear the opposing team's feed. That's why I choose the Nuggets feed all the time. I don't know about you. I feel like I need a home team feed. That's why I hate whenever we only have the ESPN feed, because they typically are biased against the Nuggets. And I mean, they were a little bit at some times with the TNT feed, depending on who you got. I know Stan Van Gundy, Stan Van Gundy and Reggie are usually too biased against the Nuggets. But now with ESPN being like a big main hub, it was usually Doris. Thank God she is gone, and our guy Legs is going to be in there, and he gives a very less biased approach to calling games, and I really appreciate his expertise. But nevertheless, we only got the Raptors feed, and I guess one takeaway from that is just at least it wasn't like an OKC feed only, or a Boston feed, or a Minnesota feed, because that would have been horrible. Like, I will give credit to the Toronto Raptors play-by-play analysts that they were relatively respectful to the Nuggets. However, their fans are not. So, screw y'all, Toronto fans. I have yet to meet a nice Toronto fan. Completely against the whole stereotype of Canadians are all nice. No, they're not. Not in Toronto, they're not. So, but there's no altitude feed, which really sucked. And the other thing that was really annoying with this was that the TSN feed, which is the Toronto network that was pumping this out, their producer sucks at directing the camera, because we constantly got the shot of the announcers talking rather than the actual game. And there would be several times where like big things happen in the game and we were focused on the announcers talking. Like, learn how to technical direct, TSN, please. For the love of God, learn how to technical direct. It was so annoying. I hate that whenever feeds like cut to the commentators talking. I don't want to see them. I want to see the ball game. That's why I'm watching the ball game. I'm not watching it for the commentators. But I digress. So moving on to the actual setup here of the game. AG was ruled out for precaution purposes. Nothing really big. They just wanted to, give him some rest, make sure to manage load management, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm sure we'll probably see him either next game, if not the following game after that. We will see him, I believe, again before preseason is done. But the starting lineup was Jokic, Jamal Murray, Cam Johnson, CB, and P. Watt. Nuggets were in their white jerseys once again, and the Raptors were in their red jerseys. And the Nuggets got the win. Let's go, Nuggets. Final score 112 to 108. Let's go. We also ended the Raptors' winning streak at this Canada series that they constantly hold in Vancouver. So that's awesome. And, what happened? Let's get into it. So the first quarter actually felt really, really good. The Nuggets were, the ball was popping with the Nuggets. However, the Raptors won the tip. Cam with a bad foul holding on Ingram's arm led to, I think it was a side out of bounds, and then Jokic not doing great on the tip-off as well. Raptors miss a three, luckily. CJ with the rebound, and on the assist by P-Watt to CJ, nails a three for the first bucket of the game. So awesome already product. Like, it was kind of like a bad foul on CJ, but then good give with the three there. So CJ giveth and he taketh, or he taketh and he giveth. But Jokic then gets a bad pass picked off, and Barrett with the drive to the rim to get the lead by 1 early on. Jokic looks really, really rusty and loses a rebound, allowing Raptors to get a second chance. And Jokic, like, he still got a decent amount of points. He was one of the higher scoring players of tonight. Obviously, he's Jokic, but if you kind of looked at his overall game tonight, he wasn't very impressive, especially from Jokic standards. It was kind of frustrating at times. Like, it didn't seem like he really cared about preseason game at all, which was kind of interesting, since last game against the Timberwolves, we got that AG told the team, don't look at this as a pregame or a preseason game. Like, preseason or not, we got to go hard. And obviously they didn't, because they lost that game against the Timberwolves. But there are some players that are picking up on that, and others who are just kind of slacking off. Like, oh, I'm kind of pacing myself or whatever. Luckily, Murray is not one of those players. He has been playing hard. We have been getting good minutes with Jamal Murray. I'm telling you, this will be the year of Jamal Murray. Him and AG are going to be cooking, and CB. Heck, Cam Johnson had a decent game tonight, so we're gonna be good. Obviously, this is preseason. You're looking for stuff, and that was definitely something I just kind of noticed, was that just a lot of lacklusterness from Jokic. So Jokic actually goes to the line and gets a pair to get the Nuggets up again, and then Jokic gets an awesome sling from the ball to CJ. Like, it was actually a 360. He slinged it across the baseline there, all the way to Cam John in the corner pocket. But unfortunately, he missed the three, wasn't able to capitalize there. CB then drills a three, though, and followed by Jamal to get the lead up to 6. Raptors then called first timeout of the game. Out of the timeout, Barrett misses the shot, and on the other, and CB drills another 3 to get the quick 9-point lead for the Nuggets. Jokic gets a T foul, which they then later walked on back. It was a different kind of foul. I forget what it was, but they had originally called it a technical foul. Then they walked it back, but they still gave Raptors an extra point. And Jamal then gets a steal, loses the ball, gets picked up by Jokic, slings it to CB for a layup, and the lead goes to 10. Then Tim Hardaway Jr. gets subbed in for P-Watt, who P-Watt didn't really do much on the offensive end, but he did do a good job on the defensive end. But he got subbed out early. He was like the first one to get subbed out for THJ, not able to get the ball going in. I'm getting a little bit disappointed in Tim Hardaway Jr. He has not so far shown up to the caliber that he was, at least in Detroit or in Dallas the year they went to the finals. So he gets subbed in, though, and then Brucey B gets subbed in as well. He gets subbed in for CJ, and Yoke tried an over-the-head pass that CB wasn't there for, and it goes right out of bounds. Like, it pretty much, like, you could tell that he thought that CB would have been traveling towards that area, that basically in the paint, and CB didn't. And so basically Jokic just did an overhead pass, with no look overhead pass to no one, and that was pretty rough. There was a lot of turnovers. That was the biggest thing in this game, was the turnovers. The turnovers. Like, I'll get into it more, but yeah, so that's one turnover right there. We've already had several already. And then Mamu knocked down 2 threes, back-to-back threes, to force Nuggets to take a timeout as the lead gets chipped down to 7. Rest of the starters get subbed out as Pickett, Big Val, Strother come in. Strother gets a tough floater to go in, which was pretty awesome to see. Valanciunas takes a hard foul at the baseline, trying to rebound the ball, gets the Nuggets into the bonus, and then goes to the line for two, makes one of those two, and then luckily the Nuggets hold on to the win of the first quarter, 34-26. And then we get into the second quarter where the bench starts the quarter again. So now we're starting to get into more lineups that we're probably going to see in the regular season. And the Nuggets start the quarter off with the back-to-back turnovers. It was really bad. Like from the first quarter, you already, like, they played well, but there were still some turnovers that needed to clean up. And then the second quarter wasn't much better. It was actually kind of worse. And the Raptors go back-to-back buckets to get the lead down to 3. Tim Hardaway Jr. nails a 3, plus gets fouled, goes to the line for the and one, but misses it, unfortunately. And he's typically a good free throw shooter, but unfortunately, the one time we need him to make the bucket, he misses it. Scotty Barnes then flops, getting an offensive foul called on Valanciunas, which really was... And then they had to look at it to see if it was a flagrant foul. It was obviously a common foul, but man, like the flopping, and I will admit, and I'm going to say it later on, pretty soon here, but I know Jokic flops at times. I will be man enough to say that I know when Jokic flops, and I don't like it. I don't like when any player flops, but Scotty Barnes, man, he just does it in a almost like a SGA way of like over exaggerating dramatically of like, oh my God, I'm going to die because he just breathed air on me. Like, come on. So annoying. So Yoke and the starters then check back in at the 8:20 mark. So very early into the game. Typically, Yoke will get subbed in back in at the 7:30 mark or the 6:30 mark. This time it was pretty early on because Adelman obviously already saw things going a little bit awry with the bench, so he needed to kind of restore order. P. Watt then immediately loses the ball on an inbound pass, causing a turnover. Barrett and Barnes double team Jokic and are called for a foul, leading to Barnes really looking like an idiot, twirling his thumb or his finger going around. I hate when players do that. Like, I love when Draymond Green always trolls other players for doing that, because that's kind of what I feel like. Like, stop twirling your freaking finger. You look like a damn fool when you do it. And they ended up challenging it, and they won the challenge. It was successful. Even though it should have been a foul, it was straight up a foul, but leads to a jump ball, which then goes to the Raptors. Nuggets losing their fire that they had in the first quarter. You could see them kind of getting a little bit exhausted and tired. I mean, they obviously just played a day and a half ago in San Diego. I told you that before this preseason even started, when I was looking at the schedule, that there was going to be a brutal stretch there for going from San Diego up to Vancouver. Now at least they have until, I think, Saturday. It was either Saturday or Sunday is the next game, and it's going to be in LA. So now they're going back down this other way. Like, why wouldn't you just have them go up to LA to face the Clippers, and then from there go up to the Raptors? Give them the rest of the week for the Raptors game. Like, the league is just so brutal sometimes on these players, and then they wonder why they're getting torn ACLs and everything. Like, maybe it's because of the load you're putting on them. Stop making them travel across the freaking country all the time and with a little rest time. Like, as a filmmaker, one of the biggest things is on sets is we have to have a 10-hour turnaround. Anything less than that is illegal. You can't have less than a 10-hour turnaround because you need 8 hours at least for sleep. And when you're driving back to set, or from set or whatever, with like 4 hours of sleep, that leads to car accidents. Kind of same thing here. Like, obviously they're not taking their own cars or whatever across country and everything, but still, like, to not give these guys enough rest, and then expect them to have these massive athletic bouts. Like, you're asking them basically to risk their bodies, their tendons, their muscles, their calves, and everything to get blown out by lack of rest. And to go 82 games, I mean, you wonder why the NFL decreased the amount of games, and like, this is one of the reasons why. Like, I actually don't understand why they can't just decrease the games from 82. They should. Both them and NHL need to decrease the games. And I won't even start with MLB. Like, what is it, like 152 games that MLB does? Like, that's also crazy. Way too much. Trim it down a little bit. We'll be fine. The fans will be fine with less games. I promise you, we will be fine with less games. It'll be fine. Then this is where I was saying. So Yoke, then after this happens, you see the Nuggets kind of losing their fire. Yoke flops, leads to an offensive foul on him. And I get he was getting frustrated with the refs, and I was too. It was super starting to feel bias officiating against the Nuggets and in favor of the Raptors. I mean, you had Canadian refs in that game, so are they a little bit biased? I think maybe so. So I will be one of the good fans to let everyone know that I saw when Jokic flopped, and I didn't like it. I wish that he hadn't have done that, but I understand why he did it, because he was trying to challenge the refs, because they weren't giving the team the same calls that they were giving the Raptors on the other end. So sometimes a flop is kind of needed just to exaggerate what's going on. And unfortunately, sometimes refs their heads are a little too thick. They're a little bit too dumb to understand what's actually being said by the players and the coaches, and they think that they're the end-all be-all of the game. They feel like they're the main character of the game, and so it is what it is. But just so you know, I did recognize that was a flop, and I didn't like it. P-Watt then loses the ball again as the Raptors press him full court. There was a lot of full court pressing in this game, and 100% you could tell that it was a copycat thing, seeing the Thunder do it last year, or sorry, the Dust Bunnies do it last season. And now every team's going to be full court pressing everyone. So annoying. I cannot stand the full court pressing. Like, give some freaking space. But he gets full court pressed, leading to Raptors lob and a dunk, and DA gets teed up, because when this happened, it was legit a foul, and no ref was there to call it. And that's when Adelman really got fed up, and he got teed up, because there was 100% a foul on P-Watt at this moment. But however, they didn't call it or whatever. They let it play, and they got the lob and the extra points, plus the T point, the technical foul point. Lead is only to 2 then, with 6:30 left in the quarter. Jokic gets fouled and getting the Nuggets back into the bonus, and makes both free throws to get the Nuggets first to 50. And then Colin Murray-Boyle, who I cannot stand. Again, I hate being a hater, but he is one of the players that I'm going to say that is new to the hate list for me, because since he is a rookie, and I will say, for anyone who is a Colin Murray-Boyle fan, the reason why I don't like him is because he is entitled. And I cannot stand entitled players. The fact that when he got drafted and he yelled out fuck and was upset that he got drafted by the Raptors, that's entitlement. I don't like it. He doesn't deserve to be in the league, despite his athleticism. His attitude does not deserve to be in the league. And so I cannot stand him. He's a jerk, and he continued to be a jerk in this moment. Just like he was a jerk in Summer League, he's a jerk now. I'm sure he just has a jerk attitude and jerk personality, so he's going to continue to be a jerk. But Jokic then took advantage of this and drew a foul on him. And it was actually a point here where the Nuggets started to bully Colin Murray-Boyle, and I loved it so much. It brought me so much joy to see him get bullied. And immediately after this, CB lays him out. Full on just lays him out. He screens Colin Murray-Boyle, and it looks like Boyle runs into a wall, falls down on the ground. Perfect. Loved it so much. I wish I could replay that several times on a loop. Just put that wherever I can. And then Jokic gets a steal, kicks it to CJ, Cam John, who gets an easy layup to get the lead back to 8. It was an awesome layup, too. Teams tie the second at 30 as the Nuggets head into the half on top, 64-56. Third quarter starts, and they start with a turnover from Jokic to CJ, leading to an easy fast break to Barrett and additional points. So they start, obviously, the quarter off with the starters, and then it leads to a turnover. Again, the turnovers. This was the biggest story of this game, was the turnovers. Second quarter started with turnovers. Third quarter starts with turnovers. And the refs miss a no call on Jamal as Raptors score another easy bucket on the other end. It was another, what's going on, refs? You are calling it easily on the other side, but then when you see the Nuggets getting hit and everything, you're just letting it go. CB then rips a ball out of the hands, I forget which player, but then dives for the ball and calls a timeout, close to the play that he did against Golden State last season, if you remember that. This is becoming a reoccurring thing with CB, and I love it. I love his tenacity and the integrity to dive for the ball and make sure that it is contained. He was a beast in this game, by the way. I loved how CB showed up. And then CB drills a 3 to get the Nuggets lead to 12. Brucey B gets a steal and a layup, feeling like the chip year. This was great. He got an amazing steal and then turned it around and got a layup. And it felt like the finals against Miami, where this happened several times, him and CB and everything, working it. It was great to see that again, because Brucey B didn't have the greatest game tonight. He was a little bit frustrating, I will say. As much as I love Brucey B, he had the second most turnovers tonight. It was really brutal. He did not look confident against this full court pressing and against the aggressive defense. He needs to get better at that. He did not do well against that. Raptors challenged an out of bounds call, and it's successful again. Whoever is calling this game clearly, had the Raptors in favor because they were winning their challenges. They won both challenges. The David Adelman does a challenge late in the game and it doesn't go in, or it doesn't get successful. But these minor ones got successful for the Raptors, and it was stupid too. So it was an out of bounds call. It was on either the Raptors or on Brucey B, and they called it on Brucey B. I think it was Quickly. It was Quickly and Brucey B, and it was successful. Barrett then nails a 3, leading to Nuggets turning the ball over again, leading to a 3 from Quickly. And just back-to-back threes again. And then P-Watt misses a layup, but Valanciunas is there to get the putback plus a foul, which was awesome. Ingram keeps drawing fouls and going to the line. This is where it starts to get very, very foul-heavy towards the end of the game here. And then Mamu nails another 3 for an 11-0 run by the Raptors to make it a 2-point game. Very stressful. Way too stressful. So again, the game turned very foul heavy, and the Nuggets defense wasn't able to find a groove. So the Raptors actually take the third 32-30. But if you do the math, at least that's not enough to give them a decent lead. Luckily, we are still in the lead. Fourth quarter happens, and actually, let me just back up real quick, because there is one thing to say here. By the end of the third, we had 21 turnovers. That's right, 21 turnovers. Normally, you'll find 21 turnovers at the end of the game. This was at the end of third period, or third quarter, not in hockey, in basketball, third quarter. Crazy turnovers. The amount of turnovers. It was so frustrating. If you didn't watch this game, you're probably lucky that you didn't, because it gave me a heart attack. I was yelling at the screen the entire time, control the ball. For the love of God, control the ball. Nuggets start the quarter off with a lineup of Strother, Pickett, Zeke, Spencer Jones, and Hunter Tyson, as the Raptors start off with a layup plus the foul. So foul heavy now. And Raptors getting the calls they want. They actually get into the bonus in this one. They try to miss the free throw, and then Grady Dick goes for the putback and gets fouled, goes to the line to make 2 more. So already fouled, tries to fix the game, and gets fouled again while trying to do that. And then Mamu gets a steal and a dunk to tie the game. Like, he straight up, I think it was Jalen Pickett had the ball or something like that, and he just straight up walked up to him, grabbed the ball from him, and ran. It was disgusting. It was so embarrassing. And so Curtis Jones, who was checked in at this point, draws a great charge on Grady Dick, and the crowd, the Toronto Raptor fans and everything, were all booing, and I loved it so much because it was amazing to see. I cannot, like, Grady Dick annoys me so much. I won't say hate, because I do acknowledge that he is a good basketball player, a good hooper, but he can be very pesky at times, and it was nice to see him get called for a charge. And then Pickett gets a floater to gain the lead again, and then Curtis Jones draws another charge against Grady Dick. Like, he had Grady Dick's number tonight. He did the scouting reads very precisely, remembered all of it, and stood his ground, got the charges drawn. It was perfect. Hunter Tyson then goes to the line, makes 1 of 2. Zeke Naji then goes to the rim and gets a foul called on him for an offensive foul called on him for a charge. So the comes back right back at the pendulum swings back towards the Nuggets. And another turnover leads to the Raptors getting a layup on the fast break, and the lead by 1 as they are the first to 100. Curtis Jones gets a layup to get the Nuggets up by 1, followed by a dunk by Hunter Tyson to gain the lead to 3. And then Tamar Bates checks in. My man Tamar Bates checks in and fouls as finally DA uses the challenge. And this is the challenge that he uses. He gets, because he fouls, I forget who it was, but he fouled him. It shouldn't have been a foul. I think it was very minimal contact, but they fouled. They called it a foul. The challenge was unsuccessful. It was Lawson. That's right. So he fouled Lawson. Lawson goes to the line, makes both buckets to give the Raptors a lead by 1, and puts Raptors in the bonus. So this is where they get in the bonus. So every foul call, no matter what, from this point on, the Raptors are going to the line, which is disgusting. Then Deron Holmes II comes in, and he ties the game with a 3. He was amazing tonight. Him and our man Kessler Edwards. We finally saw some minutes with Kessler Edwards. So, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Deron nails a 3. Tamar Bates goes to the line, getting Nuggets into the bonus themselves, making both free throws. And then Kessler Edwards blocks 2 consecutive shots, and then drives to the rim, gets fouled, goes to the line, and makes 1 of 2. Like, that would have been a highlight reel dunk if he had made it, if he wasn't fouled. It was amazing. His minutes that he played were so impactful. The same with Deron, because then Deron sinks another 3 to gain a 6-point lead for the Nuggets. Raptors get a rebound and then a bucket quickly at the end of the game, but it's not enough. The Raptors, though, win the fourth quarter 20-18, but the Nuggets win their first game in preseason, and they ruin the Raptors' win streak in Vancouver. Again, final score 112-108. Let's go, Nuggets. Hi. So let's get into stats real quick. So the stats, we have Cam Johnson playing 20 minutes. He had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He had 1 block. He was shooting 4 for 6 from field goal, 1 for 3 from 3, 2 for 2 in free throws. He had 0 turnovers. 2 personal fouls, was a plus 23. 0 turnovers, y'all. He was one of very few with 0 turnovers. That's huge. I don't care how little points he made. 11 is a lot better than the 2 he made last game. I think we're going to see a lot more productive minutes with him as time goes on, as he gets more comfortable with the fellas. He is going to be an awesome fit, I think, for the team. And to get 0 turnovers in a very, very, very turnover-heavy game, that's amazing. I don't care what his percentage. I don't care about anything else. I care about the turnovers right now, and the fact he did none says something. I love it. Next guy, Peyton Watson. Our guy, P-Watts Watson, played 22 minutes tonight. He made 1 point. 1 point. It was a free throw, and he only made 1 of 2. So 1 point. He did, however, like I said, made a lot more impact than on the defensive end. And a little bit on the offensive end in terms of assists. So he had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 for 2 in field goals. Didn't take a single 3-point shot, 1 for 2 in free throws. He had 2 turnovers, 2 bad turnovers, 0 personal fouls, and he was a plus 15. Then we have our man Jokic, MV3. Played 20 minutes tonight, made 17 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 5 for 5 in field goals. So he was great in shooting tonight. Didn't take a single 3. He had 7 for 9 in free throws, but he had the most amount of turnovers tonight with 6 turnovers. One of them being that horrible over the head to no one turnover. There was a couple of them that he got the ball snatched from him, didn't even try to get it back. 2 personal fouls was a plus 13. CB, Browntown, 21 minutes, nearly 22 minutes. I believe Peyton Watson had the most amount of minutes. Peyton Watson had the most amount of minutes of any Nugget tonight. Very closely behind was Christian Brown with that 21-59. He had the most amount of points, though, of any Nugget with 19. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 8 for 8 from field goals. So he was on point with his field goal percentage. And then also 3 for 3 with threes. 100% on both of those. He didn't go to the free throw line at all tonight. He also had a wicked layup as well. It was amazing. Then turnover-wise, he had 3 of them, unfortunately. He also had 3 personal fouls, and he was a plus 17. Our Blue Arrow had a very much Murray flurry, especially in the first quarter. Jamal Murray played 20 minutes, 17 points as well, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 for 10 from field goals, 3 for 6 from 3, 2 for 2 in free throws, 2 turnovers, 1 personal foul was a plus 13. I'm telling you, year of Jamal. Year of Jamal, year of Aaron Gordon, year of Christian Brown. Like, let's go. Year of the Nuggets. So then we get into the bench, and I won't probably get into the bench moving into the regular season unless it's really critical. But just to kind of get an overall sense of what the preseason is looking like right now, Tim Hardaway Jr. played 15 minutes tonight. He had 7 points, 2 assists. He was 2 for 7 from field goal range. Again, I am not feeling confident with him right now, but I do believe it's a little bit of an adjustment period for him. I know he hasn't been phenomenal for other teams. He has been that kind of guy, though, that you need in the corner pocket when you need to kick the ball over and make a 3. And so he did make 1 of 5 attempts for a 3, so it's still not great, but better than some. 2 for 3 in free throws. 0 turnovers. So he was another fella who had 0 turnovers, which is still big. So regardless of how crappy his offensive game was tonight, he at least did not turn the ball over. And then he also had 0 personal fouls, so also another plus for him. However, he was a minus 14. Bruce Brown, played 17 minutes tonight. He had 7 points as well, 2 rebounds. He had 1 assist, 2 steals, amazing steals, 2 blocks, amazing blocks. He was 3 for 5 in field goals. He had was 0 for 1 in 3, 1 for 2 in free throws. He had 4 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, was a minus 13. So again, one of the higher turnover players tonight. Him and Jokic were the 2 highest ones. And then Jalen Pickett played 15 minutes tonight, 2 points, only 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 for 6 in field goals. That's right, 16%. He was also 0 for 3. So again, Tim Hardaway Jr. doing 1 of 5 is still better than going 0 for 3 with Pickett. He also had 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, was a minus 4. And Jalen Pickett was another guy who really struggled with the full court pressing because he is such a slower ball handler. He likes to take his time going up. That full court pressing, 100% disrupts him, and it just was not fun to watch. It was very excruciating at times. Like, he had a good game against the T-Wolves, but this game he did not show up, and I think that's just kind of like what we're going to be seeing. Some players show up in one game and then they don't the next game. It's the consistency though that you need to build. So hopefully we're going to see that with Christian Braun and like really the starters, but bench wise we'll hopefully see that with Pickett. Hopefully he can get better at that. Then Big Val, Jonas Valanciunas, played 13 minutes, a lot less minutes than the previous game. He had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 2 for 4 from field goal. Didn't take a 3 at all. 2 for 5 in free throws. He had 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. He was a -11. Julian Strawther, who is still not showing good improvement. 14 minutes, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. 2 for 3 in field goal, 1 for 2 in 3, 4 for 4 in free throws, which is good, but he had 3 turnovers and 3 personal fouls. He was also a -11. Our guy, Spencer Jones, 14 minutes, didn't make any points, had 1 rebound, and then he was 0 for 1 in field goals, and then 0 for 1 in threes. He had also 0 turnovers and 1 personal foul. He was a -11. And then we have Zeke Naji, who had he played 7 minutes tonight. He had 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. He was 1 for 1 in field goals, so he only tried to make 1, and he made it. And then he had 1 turnover, 1 personal foul. He was a -11. Hunter Tyson played 12 minutes tonight, 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. He was 1 for 4 in field goals, 0 for 1 in 3, 1 for 2 in free throws. He had 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls with a -2. Curtis Jones played 9 minutes tonight, made 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. He had 1 for 2 in field goals, 0 for 1 in 3, and then 0 turnovers, 0 personal fouls, was a +3. So finally a bench player in the plus area. Awesome to see. He actually did a decent, good job tonight, and he actually did a lot better with the full court pressing than others did. So maybe it might be good to give him a little bit more minutes tonight. Tamar Bates, 5 minutes tonight with 2 points, 1 assist, 1 steal. He had 0 for 1 in field goals, 0 for 1 in 3. He made both of his free throws that he went to line for. He had 1 turnover, 1 personal foul, was a +3 as well. And then our man, Deron Holmes II, who should have gotten more minutes. 4 minutes is not enough. At the same time, Kessler Edwards also had 4 minutes because they checked in at the same time. They both need more minutes. Moses Brown did not play at all. He needs more minutes. Deron Holmes had 6 points, 2 rebounds. He was 2 for 2 in field goals, 2 for 2 in 3 points. Those are the 2 daggers that he shot. And then he had 1 turnover, 0 personal fouls, was a +5. And then Kessler Edwards also, again, like I said, 4 minutes, 1 point, 3 rebounds, 2 amazing blocks. He was 1 for 2 in free throws. Unfortunately, he had 1 turnover and 0 personal fouls, was also a +5. So now we get to the team stats here. 48 rebounds to Toronto's 38. 22 assists to their 26. 8 steals to their 17 steals. Freaking ridiculous, man. 6 blocks to their 0. We shot 56% from field. They shot 41%. We shot 37% from 3. They shot 23%. We shot 71% from free throws. They shot 66%. We had, again, 31 turnovers. Oh my God. Freaking A. That is just the... Like, saying it, just I can't believe it. 31 turnovers, and they won the game. The Nuggets won the game with 31 turnovers. Toronto Raptors had 11. 20 more turnovers than the Raptors did, and they still won the game. I mean, I kind of feel like that says something more wrong with Toronto than it does the Nuggets at this point, right? When the winning team gets 31 turnovers and yet they still win. We also had 21 personal fouls. The Raptors had 31 personal fouls. So, I mean, I don't know. That was just crazy. Very, very crazy. And there was a lot of luck that they were missing some shots at times, especially the threes didn't go in. There was one bout where they just kept on getting the ball back. Our guys were not boxing out, not getting the rebounds at all. And the Raptors just continued to try to shoot threes, open shot threes. And luckily they just continued to miss until finally one of our guys got the rebound. I think it was Deron Holmes got the rebound, but it was just drastic to watch. I did not like it or enjoy it at all. So that's actually leads into my big takeaway here. And the biggest takeaway from this game is the ball handling. The turnovers were atrocious. 31 turnovers. Like, are you kidding me? Gotta control the ball better. Dumb passes, not helping each other out when the others were getting locked up. Some turnovers you can't help, but most of the turnovers tonight, you 100% could help. There were times where the Raptors would just straight up yank the ball out of a Nuggets player hand and then go for a fast break dunk or a layup. Nuggets can't be like this during regular season. I know they are looking for what they need to clean up right now in preseason. That's why we have preseason, but that is has to be priority one. The Nuggets cannot let this continue. This next week, right up, the next game that they have is against the Clippers, and they have to clean this up before they get to LA because the Clippers will 100% press them full court. And if they are not ready and if they do not learn they're going over in these training sessions, they are going to fail. The second thing was that we finally got to saw Kessler Edwards. We've heard about this over offseason. We heard that he's big on defense. Hadn't seen him in first preseason game. Was a little bit disappointed and hadn't even talked about him much in training camp or even on the media day. And so it was really good to see him finally come out. And man, did he come out. My goodness. We needed to see more of him. We need to see more of him. He deserves more minutes. 2 blocks and then a near dunk. If he would have gotten fouled, he would have made. Dude looks ready to shine. And then speaking of another player that's ready to shine that needs more minutes as well is Deron Holmes II, who saved the game for the Nuggets with 2 dagger threes. We have to play these guys more. We have to play Moses Brown more. He didn't get anything. Like those 3 right there, I think are going to help us so much. And I know that there's a little bit of pecking order that you need to give Hunter Tyson a little bit more minutes because he's a more a vet than these other rookie guys. But if the rookie guys are showing up and showing that they can ball more than these other guys, then hell, play them. Play them, please. Like we need a reliable backup point guard right now. We do not have a reliable backup point guard. Both Brucey Brown and Julian Strawther have not shown up so far. Tim Hardaway Jr. has not shown up so far. Like we have issues. This is a big issue right now with our bench. And it's kind of continuing from last season. At least Russ, when he was playing, he would actually go against the full court pressing. He was able to battle it back. And maybe that's why we did a little bit better against these teams during those times, because he could at least get the ball down the court in time. But man, that's something that I'll be looking forward to in the next couple of games during preseason, is that how the ball handling, how they gonna combat this full court pressing. Well, that's pretty much all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe. And then also, if you feel so inclined to give me a donation, I still have that PayPal link opened in the description and in the profile. I'm going to continue to do that from now on, just to give a little bit of an opening for anyone who feels like they really like me and want to give me a little something. I would really appreciate it. It would help pay for all of the stuff that I'm doing. I do all of this by myself. I create all the graphics by myself. I edit it myself. Obviously, I write everything that I'm going to be saying and everything and going over by myself. And so any kind of help does really go appreciated and goes a long way. And you'll be forever in the history of this of this podcast. So, but that's pretty much, like I said, all I got. Definitely appreciate you if you're watching this, and you've been listening to CS 105.1, where I talk about the Nuggets with good vibes. We'll catch you later.